Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel ahead of blank game week 34 where free hit chat is very rife and it's going to be in this kind of, I don't know, should we call it a podcast or a stream? I don't know. Whatever, me and Jake
You're
together.
set up like it's a podcast, to be fair.
Yeah, I am. But we'll just call it two friends getting together and feeling each other out. Let's just call it like that, yeah? How's that
Yeah,
sound? That sound good
yeah,
to you,
yeah. I
mate?
love it. A bit wordy, but I'm all for it.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but like I like a mouthful, really. So I think that
Yeah,
helps.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. There's nothing wrong with that. Should have told me when we did the stream the other day in the same room, and then we really could have looked into that further. But
We could have, mate. But hey ho, we missed our opportunity. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. As always, I am joined by my good friend Jake. How are you doing, mate? You feeling good? You feeling positive heading into this blank game week?
yeah, I mean, heading into a potentially very exciting weekend of football from a biased perspective, and yeah, regarding fantasy. I think it just groups me back in with those at the top because I imagine the majority of players playing this and taking this seriously, unless they have mastermind and impeccable squad so that they're ready for this game week, they're going to be free hitting. So it's almost like it's a free hit, isn't it? It does what it says on the tin, and so I feel like I could actually challenge the very best in the game of the season on this one weekend.
You could do, or knowing you, you're gonna have some right weirdos in your side, and they'll somehow do absolutely magic.
It's one of those really. It swings and roundabouts. It really doesn't. I think a free hit is one of those things really where you've got to take into account, like we love to, previous fixtures that where players are like extremely hot at an away ground. I think that's where the head to head really comes to play when you've got a team playing away from home and you know a player who's quite susceptible to performing quite well at that ground. Not so much at home because I think home form just is home form in general, but it's when you go to a stadium that's not your own and you know that you feel confident. So I think that's got a massive part to play in my pick at the very least. And then, of course, the form of the teams. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think form's a big thing with a free hit. You know.
yeah, yeah. I don't think. I think it's very easy to go for all the heavy hitters and to maximize your team on all of the big teams, like with Liverpool playing this weekend, with Chelsea playing this weekend, Nottingham Forest. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there are other teams that should be ignored, even as far down the table as the likes of Wolves, or even you could argue maybe West Ham.
Or Bournemouth. I've not seen too many Bournemouth players in
Yeah,
people's teams as well. Pretty good record
yeah,
against United in recent seasons as well. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting.
100%, mate, 100%.
Looking in the chat, we've got some absolute legends. Andy's in here. Notion Vids is in here. A lot of people asking for a bit of coin action tonight. We might give you a little bit of coin action a little bit later if I'm feeling quite generous. Notion Vids is in here as well. I think I called you out already. We'll answer some questions a little bit later on in the stream, and maybe if you're lucky, I'll whip out the coin. But if not, I will be live for the deadline tomorrow at what time am I going live tomorrow? 7:15 in the morning. There you go. Live
Ooh,
at
yummy.
7:15. You know, nice and early, nice and early. There is a vote, going round as well on the chat for the best captain for this game week. So get your votes in for that one. Me and Jake were talking prior to this stream about who we were probably going to captain, so we'll include that. But I think it's a fairly straightforward one if you're in a decent position. Maybe if you're chasing, there's some other players you definitely can look at this week. And if you are selecting other, let us know who that other pick is going to be anyway. Right, let's dive in then. Let's take a look first at your team, Jake, from
Yeah.
double game week 33. You activated the bench boost. Overall, mate, pretty good week. 77 points on the board for you. A big, fat, juicy green arrow. Talk me through it. What went well? What didn't go so well?
I think what went well is I picked the best of a bad bunch on the whole because I don't think, and I've seen on Twitter a lot that this bench boost, well, this was bench boost week. If this weekend is free hit week, I think bench boost week was very much the game week we've just passed.
Yeah.
I think everyone on the whole was of the same mindset where it was a little bit underwhelming. And those players that you might have wanted to desperately get in didn't perform quite so well in the end, which is a shame. But I think it definitely has gained points to some extent for me. I think I took inspiration from your team of having Kivior in, and that paid off massively because before his goal against Palace, my team was looking rather underwhelming,
Yeah.
along with the majority of people. I'm sure my bench boost, if anything, was bringing me down rather than
Yeah.
pumping me up. So yeah, Kivior definitely helped. Because I think on the whole, my back line and defence was decent. Not mentioning Dan Burn. Captaincy choice was a bit of a shame that it didn't go to plan. In hindsight, I was reluctant to support Saka because of his lack of minutes. I was very wary over that. However, I think I would have kicked myself a lot further if I had sacrificed him instead of Salah, considering the double game week for Arsenal.
Yeah.
However, Salah did just the same. Probably got that clean sheet point as well. So will have got more points than Saka. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but regardless, I think it was the right decision to make that big sacrifice for someone like De Bruyne, um, because of course I'm going to free hit this weekend. Next weekend, I can consider my one free transfer, which will have passed on. I know I won't get a second one, unfortunately, from this week, but albeit I will have one free transfer going into game week 35,
Yeah.
and I can then consider bringing Salah straight back in. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about. I know Arsenal's run to the end of the season is a little bit. Well, I just saw a lot of red and dark colours when I was looking at Saka's remaining fixtures after this free hit week. And I was just like, is it really worth having Saka in when they've still got Champions League to consider, when they've not really got anything to play for? I think that's maybe an area where I'd potentially bring Salah back in after this free hit. But yeah, on the whole, I think having the City players was the right thing to do. They've got something to play for, and yeah, they seem to have turned a little bit of a corner. Still seem a little bit susceptible to
Yeah.
breakaway goals, and defensively, they can be a bit shaky, but they're turning the results, and fair play. That game against Villa was a very entertaining game, and they got what they deserved.
Yeah, they definitely did. I think you make a great point about Saka and probably Arsenal assets going forward as well. Looks like league's going to probably be gone this weekend. Top 4 or top 5 football pretty much wrapped up. I don't think they're going to have to worry about that one. So I think, yeah, Saka's probably going to be a player that most people are going to be looking to take out of the sides going forward in future weeks, with, of course, a double game week potentially in 36, and obviously with them prioritising those Champions League fixtures all the way, to be honest. So, yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. When did Dominic Solanke get in your club, by the way? Because I don't remember seeing him.
He came in this week, like that, as in
You
the
brought you
bench
brought him in.
boost week.
You brought him in.
Yeah, I brought him in for bench boost. Who did I take out? Let me just have a little look.
Oh God, did you take Mateta out?
No, Evan Nilsson, I think. Yeah, Evan Nilsson.
He didn't do anything either, did he? He got
No,
two.
and I think I just looked at a player that had a pretty decent game on paper.
Mm.
I don't know why, in hindsight, I went for that.
Okay.
I'm just having a little look. Yeah, no real reasoning behind it. I think it was just one of my last minute things where I saw the deadline fast approaching and went, screw it.
He'll do. Yeah.
And like I say, with the free hit, it's not the end of the world. And Spurs don't have the worst end to the season. After this weekend against Liverpool, where I won't be having him in my team because I will be free hitting. They've got, well, I'm just looking. They've got West Ham away, which is allegedly a green, but who knows with Spurs. And then they've got 2 home games in their final 3. Now that doesn't guarantee Spurs anything. I do appreciate that, but considering some other teams' fixtures, it's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not, but at the same time, they've probably got the same situation as with Arsenal,
Yeah, true.
where their focus is going to be solely Europa League, isn't it? It's Europa League.
Mm.
They're playing
Yeah,
like
well,
Europa Conference
it'll be
League, so.
something to consider. However, for the time being, I've got Isak and Marmoush, I think will be long-standing because they both are fighting for those for those top 3 to 5 in the league. So whether Solanke stays for the remainder of the season remains to be seen. But I think, like I've alluded to a few times, I think after this game week, Salah will be back in. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe that will turn out to be a rash decision because I don't actually know if you said this on air or not. But the fact that you think Salah's gonna. I think it was just before he came online, but Salah will is a bit of a narcissist, I think, and will want the attention on Sunday when we potentially win the league. And I think he'll want to do as well as he can. But then once he's won the league, he signed his contract. Final few games. I mean, maybe he'll be still trying to get that record. Who knows how many he'll be off that? But there'll definitely be a gear shift, I think, after the league's been won.
Yeah.
So yeah, something to keep an eye on.
Well, you're going to find out who's doubling in 36 heading into game week 35 as well. So that might potentially sway your decision making as well on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Decent week for you, mate. I'm happy. I am happy.
Thanks, Tom.
Let's move on to your free hit then draft for this game week so far. I've got it up on screen. We've got Jose Sarr, Aitnuri, Byrne, Cucurella, Neto, Gordon, Iwobi, Salah, Fernandez, Isak, Evan Nielsen, Bentley, Estupinian, Welbeck, and Virgil van Dijk. Talk me through the picks. There's quite a lot that are template, and then there's a few differential ones in there. So talk me through the team. What do you like, and who's potentially one of those players that could get swapped out last 5 minutes or so of the deadline?
I think there's still a lot that's up in the air, but I think the teams are pretty much like the balance of teams that I've prioritised are pretty much understandable, I would argue. I think the Newcastle spine makes perfect sense with them at home to Ipswich, with them still having things to play for. Ipswich all but down. I can't see them being too much of an issue away at St James's Park. If it was at mine's gone blank, Ipswich Tractor Stadium, whatever it's called.
Portman Road.
That's the one.
I prefer Tractor Road. Tractor Road
Road
is just a better stadium name.
If it was in Ipswich, maybe it'd be slightly different. I'd be a bit more reluctant to have 3 Newcastle assets. But yeah, having those Newcastle players, the Liverpool. Well, I mean, I've only got 2 players here, and Virgil's on the bench. But Salah's a must-have. I do think he'll do something. And then, I think the rest of them are very much strongly because of the teams that are playing and who they're playing and the form that they've got. Chelsea, bit hit and miss, but I think I've picked probably their most consistent player of the last 5 games in Neto. Cucurella is always worthy of a punt now and again because he will pop up with a goal. And Everton aren't the most attacking threat. What's the word? They're not as dangerous as maybe they should be in front of goal. So that could be a low-scoring game there. That's why I've gone for a defender. I've got Brighton assets, but I think it was more just to fill the bench with players rather than having no one. It's a bit of a toss-up, that game. I know they should comfortably win that, but I just don't know because Brighton's form's been inconsistent, and so is West Ham's for other reasons. They get points and they put performances in when maybe you would least expect it. And yet against Southampton last week, they couldn't get the victory. And then I've got Aitnuri, got Jose Sarr. Leicester speaks for itself. It'll be typical that Jamie Vardy scores. Now that he's just announced he's leaving Leicester, that would be typical. But I've backed Wolves in defence and I've gone for Bentley just because there's a yellow flag over Sarr and I don't want to look like a fool.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, we spoke offline about Gordon, Barnes, Murphy, who's going to be the one that plays. I think you made a great point in a message you sent to me earlier saying, they just lost that big important game. There's probably going to be some changes from Eddie Howe. I just don't know if Harvey Barnes is the player that he's going to drop because how impressive he's been in recent weeks. I'm just
and he's still got an assist in that game, in all fairness.
Yeah, he's six returns in his past 6 games. So he's in good form, and he is keeping Gordon out of the side for the past few weeks. But like you said, with a loss, he might switch it up a little bit, potentially. Neto's an interesting one. I mean, it's just not a pick that excites me personally.
There's so much rotation there, and you don't know what the manager's going to play. With them being a Saturday 12:30, you'd like to think they're going to focus on Champions League, even though of course they'll have their Conference League the following Thursday.
Yeah.
But I think there's enough time for them to play those two players, and I get it with Neto, but I do think he's been their best player over the last few games, or he's at least been their biggest asset attacking wise. It's just a bit of a difference to Palmer, which I imagine a lot of people will go for this week.
You'd think that, but there's quite a lot that don't have Palmer. Maybe you'll see another draft without Palmer in a second. The only one I was going to... Actually, two things I was going to flag. Where's a Wolves attacker?
Could be for Evan Nilsson.
I think I prefer
because
Cunha
if I'm going to have a
over Evan
Wolves
Nielsen.
attacker, go on.
I think I prefer Cunha over Evan Nielsen for me.
Yeah. Well, I have got the finances for that. I don't even see. Oh no, you won't be able to see, but I think it said 2.7 mil in the bank.
Okay.
I can upgrade him because if I'd have Cunha, and I'd be foolish to bench him.
Yeah, agreed. What about why Dan Burn and not maybe like a Trippier or a Liverpool or a bit more attacking?
Yeah, no, completely. I think I just saw when I was doing this this format, I saw that I had Burn already and probably just left it like that. Didn't really deep that one too much, but yeah, that's a valid shout.
Yeah.
Probably would go for a Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I think both are pretty fair picks, to be honest, either Liverpool or Kieran Trippier.
Yes, Trippier's on set pieces, isn't he?
Yeah. I was going to go with Shaw originally in my draft, but Eddie Howe basically was like, a little bit like, oh, he's all right. He just had like a minor muscle injury, and I was like, I am not going anywhere near you now. Stay well away from that one, to be honest.
Emil Kraft is in.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, no, we're not going near that one. Don't worry. And then I've seen a few people in the comments section asking about Bruno Fernandes. I get Bruno Fernandes personally. He has been Manchester United's best player this season by a long stretch. And you feel if United are going to score at all in that game, it's probably going to come from Bruno. You had a really good point that you mentioned before we came on as well. Why you selected Bruno? If you wanna give some credence to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw the shit I was getting. Well, not I was getting, but I felt like it was aimed, even though no one knew that I had Bruno, because United were getting so much slander. Bournemouth do fancy United. They've got their card marked at Old Trafford for sure. And so I went, you know what, let's see what Bournemouth player has a good record in the last few games against United. Let's have a look at the Vitality, because that's where it is. And lo and behold, in the last game at the Vitality, it was 2-2 and Bruno scored twice. And then looked further back, he scored about 4 goals in the last 3 games, or 4 games, I think it was. And the majority of them, I mean, when you lose 3-0 2 games in a row against Bournemouth, of course the majority of them are going to be away from home. But that just further backs my case. And furthermore, they haven't actually lost to Bournemouth away from home since 2019.
Okay.
So I think that's 3 games in a row where they've avoided defeat.
Yeah, this is the thing. I don't mind the Bruno pick, to be honest, because he plays 90 minutes. He's on penalties, and he, like I said, if United score, he usually has some sort of involvement in it. To be honest, I think he's an alright pick. To be honest, I think the chat are probably going a little bit overboard with you. To be honest, on that one, he was a player that I've considered. Out of the team, then, was there any players that caught your mind that you just couldn't find a way to get in, or would maybe you're considering at the moment?
Well, like I've flirted with, I do think Brighton will score this week. João Pedro's suspended, I imagine.
He
haven't had anything to say that's been rescinded. So that you'd imagine that Welbeck's going to be leading the line there. I think that he could get points on my bench. So it's a shame I can't really squeeze him in, because I fancy Evan Nilsson. I don't fancy United to keep a clean sheet. But then now you make the valid point that Cunha's such a glaring player to be missing. I might need to shake up my team yet again. I don't know, what would you recommend if I was to bring Cunha in? Would you then take that risk of having 2 separate goalkeepers from different teams?
I mean, you want to keep that Wolves one, don't you? Like, ticked off. But I guess you could just pick Leno. Like, you know Leno's going to play.
Yeah.
Or you could go for Sanchez and not play Cucurella then. I don't know. Just some food for
I
thought.
like
Maybe.
Leno. I do like Leno.
Yeah. I mean, if I was to bring in Cunha to this side, I'd probably put Neto on the bench for him rather than Evan Nielsen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I fancy Neto, you know.
If
I
you
fancy
lad,
him.
if you fancy
Why would
Neto,
I bring Neto in? If I'm going to bench Neto, I'm not playing him at all. He's one of them where like he's not a bench one. I do fancy him to get an attack in return.
and lad, if you
Um,
fancy him, then I'm never ever going to tell you not to pick someone that you fancy.
he is my wild card choice of the week.
Okay.
I think Neto is that. He could be the dark horse of the weekend.
All right. This is the thing. I don't mind that on a free hit. I think as long as you have the main staples of a free hit, which is Salah, a Newcastle defender, 8 Nuri, Isak, Cunha, and then I think you can probably start to play around with the rest of the picks, really.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you fancy Neto, I'm not going to sit here and go, Neto's a terrible pick. If you fancy it, mate, you go for it.
Chelsea should score goals against Everton. I know Everton are quite good at defending, but you'd think with the quality they have attacking wise, when it clicks, they can quite clearly score. They're just a little bit weird. So of course I will concede the fact that you can't guarantee who the hell scores the goals for them. Anyone could score in that attacking line.
Mm-hmm. Well, on it to be honest, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. No Tarkowski. That's what I was going to say. There's no Tarkowski
Very
for the
good
remainder
point.
of the season.
I forgot about that.
And I think that's going to be a massive blow for Everton, to be honest. I would be... Yeah, I think I'd probably be a bit sceptical, to be honest.
There are just too many decent strikers, and especially when you've now mentioned Cunha, and I'm only going to really want to play 2 strikers in this. I don't like the likes of Jackson hasn't even crossed my mind. I think if I was going to bring someone in, it would be a midfielder. It probably would have been a Palmer, but I've gone for Neto because I thought, you know what, he's been better over the last few weeks than Palmer.
Oh, Palmer's been absolutely terrible. He's been dismal. He's
not had penalties. That's been his issue.
Yeah, his confidence I think is probably at an all-time low as well, which is not what you want to see from a player, really. It's just not what you want to see, is it really? People are still slamming your draft in the chat, but hey ho.
Why?
I don't know, mate. If it finishes,
what have they said? Let's have a
there's
look.
a lot of hate towards Neto. I feel. I mean,
it's only to one player. Then fair enough.
We called the Bruno Fernandes hate, and I think I'd still probably I back Bruno. I don't mind Bruno as a pick.
I think I will take any hate regarding the fact that I have not gone for Cunha. I will accept that.
Yeah.
But I think what is the point in having a team which you copy from everyone? You need to have those differentials. And when you've got Chelsea at home to Everton, and like you've mentioned, I wasn't even thinking of Tarkowski being injured, but that just further adds stake to the fire, doesn't it? Like it's
Yeah.
I think it is a bit of a no-brainer having a Chelsea attacker.
People are giving you slander for Iwobi either. I mean, I don't mind Iwobi. I think he's Fulham's top scoring player this season for points, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
He definitely should be. Yeah, he's been
it's
brilliant.
It's either him or Raul or Robinson.
I don't know where Nemanja is planning on having Raul in. To be honest,
I've got Raul
Isak. Say again.
I've got Raul in. We'll come and look at that.
And not Iwobi.
Iwobi is their highest scoring player, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually had a pretty good season, to be honest.
Is Muniz injured?
Yes.
Mm.
But Raul's recent returns, 8-2-13 in his past 3 games. Just
Who, Raul or Iwobi?
Iwobi. Just putting that out there.
Yeah,
putting that out there. He's actually got I didn't realise he'd done that well. 14 goal involvements this season, by the way. Jesus. When did he start banging these in?
Suck on them eggs.
14 goal involvements. Fair play. You know what? I don't mind it. Jake.
Are you tempted yourself, or was Raul the man?
Not for me, because there's different midfielders who've caught my eye. But I don't mind having a Fulham attacker in the side.
Yeah.
And you can't guarantee that Raul's going to play like a full 90 either.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it. personally for me. Right, let's move on then to my team and how we got on last week, and then obviously take a look at my free hit. Let me bring my team up real quick. Here we go. So, as you can see on screen, if I unfreeze Jake, there he is, he's back with us. We got 93 points in game week 33 with a -4, which did, for the first time this season, take us into the top 10k of all players. We're currently sat 9,000 in the world. And the big boy play that I was getting absolutely slammed for was going triple Arsenal over Saka. Where are you now, lads? Hey? Where are you now with your Saka 2 points? Can't hear you down there, lads. It was very ballsy because Saka very easily could have had about 3 goals this game week, to be honest.
Yeah, when he rounded the keeper and didn't shoot.
Rounded the goalkeeper, didn't shoot. He had another one that was faced across the box and just missed it. And then he had one against Palace as well, a decent opportunity. And it was just like, how have I got this lucky? But I have. I always knew his minutes were going to be dicey. I said to people, look, I think KDB is going to play both games. He did. And I said, I still hold by this. I think KDB will see decent minutes for the remainder of the season as well. Because Pep's just going to run him into the ground. I genuinely don't think Pep cares. KDB probably doesn't care what he does at his next club anyway, because it will just be MLS tin pot, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's one of those, isn't it? So, yeah, exactly. But here we are. Mateo's giving me some grief as well because he could have had a ton of points. He could have, should have, but here we are.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Exactly. Yeah. Here we are. I'm laughing. I'm in the top 10k, and we're giggling. We took the risk. The risk paid off. So who cares? Rest of the team, it just did all right. I mean, it's not a bad bench boost, to be honest. What is that? 14 plus 6? 19? No, 20, right? 20.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, God. Oh, dear. It's been a long day, all right? It has been a long day today. 14 plus 9. But yeah, there we go. 20 points on the bench, which is a pretty decent for a bench boost. Then we had Jared Bowen as well, who again wasn't it? Oh my God! I think Mateo has been absolutely rattled by me cupping my ears. He's lost his head. He's lost his head. Oh, Mateo.
Is Mateo an Arsenal fan?
He's just rattled.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Come on, Mateo. It's all banter. It's a game at the end of the day, pal. You get lucky. That's all you can really do. All right?
Yeah, those who had bloody Trossard, fair play.
Exactly. If you went Trossard over Moreno, fair play. And there was some people in my chat suggesting it. So fair play to you as well. Bowen did have an almost amazing bonus as well, didn't he? That was unfortunate as well. But
why? Oh, because of the equaliser.
The equaliser knocked Areola clean sheet and Bowen off 2 bonus, I think, out of it.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? But it's all good. It's all good. Overall, great game week. We're not too bothered. We
Did you see the Mateta goal?
I did see the Mateta goal.
Bloody naughty as hell.
It was very naughty, wasn't it? It was a naughty little goal. Right, let me take a look at how my team then is lining up. This is my current free hit draft in game week 34, or should I say blank game week 34. As you can see on screen right now, I've got Leno, I've got Trent, I've got Trippier, I've got Ait Nuri, Luis Diaz, and Mbuemo, Salah captain, Jacob Murphy, Raul, Cunha, Isak. On the bench, I've got Areola, Bowen, Nico Williams, and Cucurella. What are you saying about that, lad?
Right, so your argument, the only thing I will say, argument regarding Iwobi was that there were other midfield options, yet you've benched a midfielder.
I have because
Which means you have still technically gone Raul over Iwobi.
I've gone a Raul over Iwobi.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Good team, yeah. I think Cunha is a bit of a glaring missed opportunity for me. Good job that we had this meet up beforehand because I think he shall be coming in straight in for Evan Nilsson for me. Mbuemo, I get it, completely get it.
Yeah.
He's just Brentford are just not the same force away from home. They're playing against the best defence in the league.
Wow,
Well,
wow, you say that. That was once the case. Not in the past few weeks. Forest have been sucking slugs.
still got the most clean sheets, doesn't he? Or is Raya taken over now?
Uh, I don't know, but they're 17th for XG conceded over the past 5 game weeks. And that just has my name written all over it with some Brian points, to be honest.
Yeah, I did look at Brentford, but just as soon as I saw it was a Thursday night game.
That is the
So
other thing, yeah. The Thursday worries me because what happens if just randomly, like, Mbuemo picks up an injury? Or there's a doubt, like he just comes off the bench randomly. I don't think that'll happen. I think if I feel Brian starts or he doesn't.
Forest won 2-0 in the reverse as well. But if anyone's going to do something, it's going to be either Wissa or Mbuemo. So
Exactly.
I feel like you can understand that. Trent's an interesting one. I think if he plays, he's a great shout. But honestly, I think there's a chance he gets benched again. I know what he did when he came off the bench, but I think I don't know. In my humble opinion, I think you don't want. I don't want to see Trent play unless like things are sorted with him. And the way that things look like they're going, it looks like he's leaving. I really don't think he should be playing. So now maybe Slot will tell me to fucking do one, but personally, I think what has Bradley done wrong, and I don't think he's done a whole lot wrong. So I would argue that Bradley will start that game because we need a point. Trent can come off the bench.
I get that. He's my big gamble, to be honest, is Trent. He's my big gamble out of the side.
If he starts, fantastic shout because there's no doubt he'll do something.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one. I guess on the contrary, starting him would kind of nullify that reaction of him being subbed on and seeing some of the fans maybe not too pleased about him coming on and there being a bit of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
But arguably, this is the chance for Liverpool to win the league. It's supposed to be a good day. Will Slot want to will he really want to like potentially mar it with Trent even being involved? I think if they can win without him, I think he will. But that's my perspective of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a look at some predicted lineups and it'll probably be a decision for tomorrow morning whether or not to go Trent. I think if I was to drop him, I probably would put maybe Cucurella in.
He's just, like you say, he's an attacking outlet, and I think the attacking defenders are the best bets in a free hit.
Yeah, I've seen some people suggesting Sessegnon as well in the chat. After Marco Silva's comments today around Sessegnon, it's kind of put me off a little bit. So that's why he was originally in there ahead of Trent, but now with those comments, I've kind of eased my interest in him a little bit.
You know how? So I did say this last week that I did think. Well, I definitely said it to you because, of course, I was doing my last man standing behind closed doors, and I was very reluctant to go West Ham because I was like, that could just be a 1-1. Lo and behold, it was. Southampton could beat Fulham. I don't know why. But with it being at Southampton, it was 0-0 at Craven Cottage.
Oh, God, don't say this.
It's just one of them. Southampton got nothing to play for. And Fulham are just a bit weird as well because they seem to pick it up when they're against teams they should be underdogs for.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, and I think that Chelsea game at the weekend was a bit of a sickener for them because it looked like they deserved it on the whole. But Chelsea just kept knocking on the door and in the end got that late winner from, I've forgotten who. It was Neto. But yeah.
Who? I don't think we've spoken about him tonight, right?
But yeah, it's a tricky one really because Fulham should be winning that game, but with it being at St Mary's, that really hostile atmosphere and that scary place to go for all teams this season. Stranger things have happened, and that's I think that it goes to show that it's not a no-brainer because otherwise, arguably, you'd be putting in Raul, Iwobi, and Robinson
Yeah.
But instead, you've gone for players from Newcastle and Wolves because they seem to be more bankable.
It's just the home.
Probably
It's
of
just the
course they're
home.
away.
It's the home
Yeah,
fixture. That's why.
yeah. Southampton have the lowest points tally to play for.
It's a big one. We did speak about that last week as well. It is a big achievement. What do you think about Luis Diaz then?
Yeah, I think he'll start. There's no doubt though he will come off. Gakpo will come on for him. It just depends on how effective Liverpool are in the first half. I think everyone is hoping it goes quite swimmingly in the first half,
Yeah.
which you'd imagine he'll be on the end of one of those trademark Salah assists.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I can see that being a decent shout. But yeah, I can't see him playing more than 75 minutes.
Yeah, that was my only concern with him, to
But
be
then, like
honest.
you'd like to think the job will be done by then, or there'll be a goal. And he has got a good record this season for goal involvements, especially it feels like, especially the second half of the season, with Salah in my head cooling off a little bit. I think he's got two penalty goals in his last five or something,
Yeah.
and that being it. I think Diaz is kind of he's definitely stayed in line with Salah, if not been a little bit more opportunistic in front of goal.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Mateo's just going for smoke here now, isn't he?
Mateo just wants it all, doesn't he? Bless him. Oh dear. Do you reckon there's anybody I'm missing? Obviously, neither of us have got Cole Palmer. Do you think he's going to be a big player that could go off
Could
this
be.
week?
Yeah, he very much could be. I think you could argue that. I think this is one of those weeks where Cole Palmer and Neto could be the wrong shout, and it could be Madueke or Sancho
Yeah.
or Enzo Fernandez. He pops up with the odd goal or two. Like, there are so many assets for Chelsea. I can't even guarantee who starts. And Kunku, I don't know how he's doing fitness wise actually, but there are so many players for Chelsea, but no one really has stayed consistent. And that's why my argument goes back to Neto, because he's been the most consistent in front of goal over the past few weeks. But he's not really like blowing anyone away. He's not going to win Player of the Month or anything. But yeah, so going for Palmer makes sense. He's on the penalties, so I do understand it. But yeah, I think that's one of the teams where you can bank on maybe a little bit a differential, because that could also be 0-0. You'd like to think Chelsea score, especially when you highlight the fact that Tarkowski's injured. But Chelsea being Chelsea, who knows what performance we see.
Yeah, agreed. Right, let's move on then. Let's take a look at what should we go for first? Let's go for the betting data. All right, let's go for the betting data. So here we have it, the numbers from Rob T FPL for this game week. Obviously, some pretty one-sided looking games on this, with lots of high projected goals for the home teams and decent clean sheet numbers as well. The only standout fixture from an away perspective is, of course, Fulham, with 1.95 projected goals heading into this game week. Liverpool top. Does that fill you with a lot of confidence for the weekend heading into it?
It does. But Liverpool haven't. I know it's Tottenham, but Liverpool haven't really scored as many as maybe you'd expect under Klopp against the sides like Spurs, where they play a lot open. I mean, was it 6-2 actually in the reverse?
You
Or 6-3?
numpty.
But I think this half of the season it's definitely gone a bit quieter. I think it's been a lot more assured. To be honest, I think this season's been that case. But if Liverpool start in the blistering form that we know they can, and get a goal in the first 10-15 minutes, then this could be it could be a high scoring game, because of the fact that it's almost like a carnival kind of experience potentially.
6-3 was the fixture.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz got 2 that day, by the way.
Trent did all right, I seem to recall as well.
Let's have a look. Trent got an assist.
Okay.
Still though,
It's all right.
that'd be a decent return. That'd be a
3
decent
conceded doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. Salah had a great day, by the way. 2 assists, 2 goals.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I've captained Isak.
But I mean,
I think that
you're further back though. I get that. I do get that. Why people are looking at that.
it's also for me a win-win, so I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah. I get
losing sleep. Yeah, I think yeah, it looks like there's going to be a lot of goals. That's for sure. Brighton West Ham can't really call. I know they seem to be able to call it quite obviously, but Brighton have been a bit weird.
Yeah, that result against Brentford was a bit weird.
Yeah. But yeah, am I being foolish only having Salah attacking wise for Liverpool?
That's what I'm starting to think. Like I've got Diaz and I'm feeling pretty comfortable about it. Like you are gonna probably batter Spurs. I think you're gonna batter.
Well, do I like throw a Szoboszlai in there?
Exactly. Some people have been shouting Szoboszlai in the chat as well, so maybe he could be the one.
It's tricky because there are a fair amount of players that I wouldn't. Let's have a look at my team. There's one man that is staying in my team from rain or shine, and his name is Pedro Neto.
It's when we get like a team leak and I text you like, "Oh, Pedro Neto's not in the squad, lad."
Oh, to be fair, I could take Gordon out.
But then would you want to lose a Newcastle attacker who are just 0.5 projected goals behind Liverpool?
If I was going to bring another Liverpool asset in, it would be for Gordon. I want to keep Iwobi, want to keep Neto, and Bruno. I think isn't a bad idea to have, considering his last time at the Vitality.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll see what I decide tomorrow morning when I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah, it would be funny. It will be funny. I mean, looking at those Brentford numbers, it is putting me off a little bit. Going Brian.
What is it saying? Sorry, I was looking.
No, it's all right. Don't bother, mate. 1.38 for projected goals.
It's not bad considering it's Forest. That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's just like I could have maybe Cole Palmer.
I think you're going for the wrong Chelsea asset, but we'll move past that.
Or maybe I'll go Clivert, who's nobody's really talking about.
He's got a bit quieter though, hasn't he, recently?
He has, but he was injured for a little bit, and he does.
I think Semenyo likes United. He does like United game. Or you go for Iwobi.
I don't want to go for Iwobi. I've got one already. I've got Jimenez. I don't need Iwobi. I'm not bothering with him.
Fair dues.
Same with United for you though. 1.08. Does that maybe make you reconsider Bruno?
Yeah, 100%. Like it's a sketchy game, that one.
Yeah.
It really is a sketchy game. Kind of, I can foresee it being that similar to that game we watched when it was Palace United and it was 0-0 and dreadful. Yeah, it's a tricky one because that Liverpool expected goals is stinkily high.
It's good. It's looking good, lad. That's what that is.
What about McAllister?
Oh God. Oh no, we're there.
What about Curtis Jones, lad? The shirt's coming on. Yeah, there are good options for Liverpool because anyone could score in that game. But I don't want to get too overconfident with it and for us to lose.
Okay. It's an interesting one. One player I did see floating around the chat earlier as well was Jamie Vardy. What do you think about that as a potential fun pick for
it would be so typical, wouldn't it?
He's leaving, so
he's had harder games to play as well. Like Wolves at home, Wolves should be confident they'll win, but
Wolves aren't some like mega team though, are they?
Exactly. Tricky.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Makes you wonder.
It does. It would make my decision of bringing in Cunha a lot easier because then I could take away one of the Wolves' assets in defence.
yeah, and then have Vardy.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying like if Vardy's a hot topic, then like it makes my life easier because if he scores, then at least I made the right decision to sacrifice a defender.
Yeah. Jamie put Vardy is either scoring or getting a red card. Could definitely see it. Matteo asks thoughts about Chris Wood. The reason I would not go for Chris Wood is that it's just the fact that Forest have got the FA Cup fixture this weekend. It depends. That game could go to extra time and penalties.
He could get injured.
He could. Well, if he gets injured, it's not a big deal, is it? Because someone else will swap in. But you probably would be kicking yourself if you don't have a Raul, maybe you don't have a Welbeck or an Evan Nielsen that you could have had. Now you're heading into that Thursday game with, say, Chris Wood being a bit of a doubt.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those players that I feel, if he's fit enough, he'll probably start. But if he's not like 100% ready, is he going to be fully firing Chris Wood?
Very true.
I personally would probably just avoid it, with it being that Thursday game, with the FA Cup fixture as well. It might only just be like a slight knock he picks up, but it could still impact his minutes. It could still impact how he plays against Brentford. It could also just mean that he's knackered heading into this game.
Yeah.
So I probably would just avoid that for now. But that's my kind of stance on it, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool. Right, let's move on, and then we'll answer some questions before we finish up. This is a new sheet. Tell me if you can see this in the stream or if it's too small. And if it's too small, we'll bin it off and we'll do something else. We'll start answering questions. But let me know if you can see this in the chat. It is from, I think it's Silo, I think they're calling it. But basically, it's something new that Praz is working on.
Oh, yeah, no, that sound.
You can see that, yeah?
Yeah.
Sound, wonderful stuff. It's just a bit like blurry on mine. But basically, yeah, this is something that Praz has been working on, so go and check it out. I think they've only got about 1,000 followers on Twitter at the moment, but feel free to go and check it out. And this is based on 100 teams that have been submitted in the past 24 hours and the ownership of each player within those teams. So I just wanted to highlight this in case people, of course, are going for, highly owned players, or they're looking to obviously maintain their rank position, or if you're looking to potentially go for some cheeky differentials along the way. So looking at these teams then, let's go for the highest one in each position. Leno's the top for the goalkeeper. 8 Nuri's top for defenders. Salah's top for midfielders, no real shock there. And then Isak in terms of the forwards. In terms of the close seconds, you've got Luis Diaz with a close second and Cunha as well at 91.2. A player that you've not gone for, Jake. Does that scare you a little bit?
Yeah, no, I was among. I mean, I don't know if I can say that, but I was doing two things at once.
Yeah,
that's my defense. I was in work whilst I did that, and I just didn't think it through. Because it is so obvious, obvious. You'd have on your in.
You feel like both him and Isak this week are probably going to be like plus 100% effective ownership as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's interesting. I like that Iwobi's so far down there because that means he's a differential.
He is, yeah.
Can't quite see. Can you scroll down to see where Neto is?
I don't think they found somebody who had even Neto in the team. You probably sent it in and they went, no, this guy's got to be a bot.
Literally, Sancho is there ahead of him.
Yeah, someone's picked Sancho. 0.9 have picked Sancho ahead of him.
Oh, just you wait, guys. Just you wait. But Leno sounds like a good keeper to have. Especially because I don't have Cunha and I've used all my Wolves assets up. So when I've got only Iwobi, I can always go Leno and whoever their understudy is just in case to hold my own back.
Yeah, just looking at this as well, I'm not seeing Anthony Gordon on this list. You've got Jacob Murphy and you've got Barnes, but no Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Although I think if I'm going to take Gordon, I'd be more inclined to go for a second Liverpool attacker.
So Luis Diaz.
Or Szoboszlai.
I don't mind either.
Although he's not there either. I don't like Jota. I don't.
No, I'm not 100% convinced on Jota. I think he probably plays like 60.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Diaz, in hindsight, actually, is there's a good chance Gakpo comes on for Jota and Diaz goes up top for a bit.
Yeah.
Like, you never know. But Diaz is definitely going to play more minutes than Jota, albeit an injury.
Yeah. Andrew just made a really good point. No Everton players on this list either.
Well,
That could be one of those fixtures this week that just goes completely against... Like, Chelsea have been bad recently. They've not been good, have they?
no. They've been very inconsistent for the quality they've got.
Yeah, you could definitely see Dave doing a job. It's the early kickoff as well. Mahatma Gandhi is licking his lips looking at this fixture.
Jordan Pickford and Gandhi are defo I think they've been like roommates or something on like a school trip or something.
Yeah. Looking at their recent results in the Premier League, 2-1 against Fulham, a draw with Ipswich, a draw with Brentford, a 1-0 against Tottenham, a 1-0 loss against Arsenal, 1-0 against Leicester.
What was the reverse?
I'll have a look at the reverse in a second, but overall, those fixtures there are just... Like, there's some good fixtures in there, but they're just underwhelming score lines, aren't they, really?
And yet they find themselves in the top 6.
You'll never guess what it was.
Was it 0-0?
0-0.
Brilliant.
0-0 was the last scoreline. Interestingly, the last home fixture, which was around similar time, was a 6-0 win for Chelsea. Palmer got 4. Yep.
Oh, flip.
Palmer got 4 goals, by the way.
Oh.
So, yeah. And he is extremely high.
How are you thinking now?
I think if I was to drop Palmer for anybody, it'd be Brian and Mbeumo.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense anyway. Because you've got Chelsea at home and Brentford, who aren't amazing away from home.
Yeah. I just want someone in that Thursday fixture so I can watch the game.
Why don't you just put Sells in?
I don't want to put Sells in. Oh, God.
Aina? He scored in the reverse.
He's still injured, I think, actually, at the moment.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Who's the other one that scored? You miss him.
I miss Aina. What a player he was earlier in the season.
He's still quite decent, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was Aina and Delanga, and Sells got man of the match.
Okay. People are telling me to avoid Cole Palmer like the plague.
What's he done? Is it just because he's in terrible form?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but guys, if you're going to believe this voodoo magic that we adhere to on this stream, which is previous games, granted, it's not at Goodison Park. If it was at Goodison Park, I'd be very tempted. But then again, I think Cole Palmer, when he's not been in good form and he's not finding the back of the net very well, and he's going into a game at home where he's got the fans on his side and they're against a side where he last played them at Stamford Bridge and scored 4 times, you're bound to have a bit of confidence in you, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. I still don't think I'm going to end up picking him, though.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Right, let's finish up. Let's answer your guys' questions. Get them in. We'll try and answer as many as we can before we do wrap up today's stream. If we don't get around to any of the questions, or you want to get your team reviewed or whatever, tomorrow is going to be a shot live from 7:15 in the morning. So come and say hello to me. There you go. Off to a big one as well on the second channel tomorrow, Jake. You'll love it.
Oh, I think I've got an inkling as to what that may be.
Go on.
Well, no, I don't want to ruin it.
Well, you might as well. You might as well tell people.
Am I right or wrong?
Well, I don't know. You've not said. I can't say if you're right or wrong if you've not said where.
Are you going Doncaster Bradford?
I am going Doncaster Bradford.
That's some game, to be fair. Hopefully, we can tee up a Bradford day next weekend.
Now, see, this is the thing. I want Donny to win tomorrow.
Why?
Because if they win, they go up.
Oh.
And I can go on the pitch, which is great.
Could we get that consecutive weeks then?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So if we need Walsall to shit bed.
Oh, well, that's already written in the stars.
Exactly. Then we can have a nice Bradford win next week that gets them up. And then 2 pitch invasions in 2 weeks is just free content, really.
I like that.
So,
you'll never guess. I actually could also be on the pitch tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going?
Where do you think I'm going?
Is it Tranmere?
It's Tranmere.
What are you going to be on the pitch for?
If they win, we'll do an Everton-style pitch invasion
There'll not
because
be
we'll
enough
be safe.
people there. There'll not be enough people there.
You'd be surprised. I reckon last game of the season, the home form's been half decent for a
Hmm.
team flirting with the drop of football itself.
Okay.
Yeah, I reckon we'll push 10,000 tomorrow,
Okay.
which is quite decent.
We've had an update from Rob TFPL
Yeah.
on the projected goal numbers. Liverpool are no longer top.
Who are?
Newcastle are now top with 3.
Ugh.
Yeah, 3.
What was their score? What was their return? Let's have a look at that.
And Isak has gone top for projected goals, by the way.
Well, here's my captain.
Second is Salah.
Oh,
Third,
lad. Oh, Tom.
what?
The reverse at Portman Road, is it?
Yeah, not Tractor Road, no.
Not Tractor Road. Isak hat-trick.
Oh, dear, dear, dear.
And a Murphy goal. And an Anthony Gordon assist.
Okay, okay.
And the Jacob Murphy assist.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, some good stuff.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, Isak is captain.
I hope it works out for you, mate. I do hope it works out for you.
What the heck? The time before that, Jose Perez got man of
Oh
the
my
match.
god.
2016, that would have been a championship game. Yeah, it was. It must have been when Rafa was at the helm.
That's a blast from
It
the
was.
past, isn't it?
Oh, it was Rafa Benitez against Mick McCarthy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Wonderful stuff.
Well,
I don't think we're getting any questions. No one wants to ask me a question today. I feel hard done by, really.
well, if you're in a room with your mum and no,
Oh my god, I don't even want to know where that goes. Tell me after the stream. When we finish, we'll do
have you
that
seen
one.
White Lotus, by the way?
No, I've not seen White Lotus.
Well, if you ever want to watch it with your beloved other half,
Oh yeah.
it's worth the watch, and you'll enjoy it.
Why is that now?
I don't think I can say what I want to say on stream, but
Is it the Sydney Sweeney effect?
well, Sydney Sweeney's actually in the first one,
Right.
but in the most recent series, if anyone's seen it, it goes a bit bloody weird, is all I'll say.
Right. Okay.
I'll tell you after the stream, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's watching and hasn't caught up with where I'm up to. But yeah, definitely worth the watch.
Okay.
And because I was going to make a joke between mum and dad and son, that's what triggered me to think about
Sorry?
White Lotus. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
God.
good show though on Sky. If you've got Sky, watch White Lotus. Watch it with someone though, so you can make sure that you have actually watched what you've just witnessed.
Preferably not your mum or your dad, though. Really. Or to get. Well, no, because then you might get a.
Depends if you're doing a bit of role play. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this stream has gone completely downhill towards the end here, hasn't it?
When does it not go? When does it not go? It's at peaks and troughs, lad.
It is
And this
peaks and
when
troughs.
people will be sat on their own like they should be when they watch White Lotus, but will be alone and be like, "What? I swear I logged in to watch a FPL stream, but something's going on here." And then they'll rewind 10 minutes and we'll be just talking about
Awobi.
Iwobi, yeah. And it was all in their heads.
All right, here's a question for you then. Who would be a Premier League player that you could see in White Lotus?
Jordan Pickford would definitely be in White Lotus.
Right. Okay.
Who else? It was a good question, that.
Look at that straight off the top of the noggin. That was.
Yeah, Jordan Pickford, Steffo, and I think David Moyes gets in there. It's a lot of Everton, for some reason.
Right. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to watch this then, aren't I?
Yeah, Lucas Akins might be.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, you should watch it. It is good.
All right. Okay. I might give it a chance.
Who do you reckon? What? All right, let me ask you one then. What Premier League footballer would be most likely to be in The Apprentice?
Oh, there was a guy this year, right, called Liam, right, and he looks a bit like Harry Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Like he just gives off like mid-league sort of Premier League player where they'll turn up for like a month, and he'll probably win goal of the season, and then you won't hear of him again till like next January. You know what I mean?
Yeah, have you seen the clip of Tom Cleverley on a dating show?
No, is he good?
I just saw a clip of it, and it's like some like I don't know what it is, but it's like a lovers. It's like secret celebrities or something,
Okay.
and it's just a clip of him going to this girl. Oh, I've got to be honest with you. I'm actually a really famous soccer player, and I've got one of the biggest radio stations in Europe because he does the sports bar.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Send me that.
I think it's wait, is it no? Is it Tom Cleverley or is it Jamie O'Hara? Oh no, man, it's well, either or.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
still pretty rogue.
Yeah, funny.
Anyway, back to FPL. Let's answer some of your guys' questions before we do wrap up today. Could you guys weigh up why Salah is a better pick than Isak for captaincy? Yes, we can.
Midfielder.
Midfielders are probably going to pick up already 2 points off the bat for doing the basic actions, clean sheet and scoring. Liverpool are now second for projected goals, but I think with it being a league match, I think if you're in a decent position as well, rank-wise, I think I probably would still stick with Salah because he's going to be plus probably 140, 150 yet again. If you're in a decent position with rank, I probably would just play it safe and stick with Salah. If you're chasing, definitely this could be the week where you go against Mohamed Salah. We're getting late towards the end of the season. Isak's got a good record, as Jake's pointed out earlier in the season against Ipswich. Top for projected goals on the Rob T FPL data. So I do think it is a kind of what position are you in terms of your rank and how is your season lining up, which way you want to go with captaincy, really. Would you agree with that, Jake?
Yeah, 100%. I think it very much just depends on who you fancy and where you are in the leagues. I imagine you're talking about the fact that expected owned is going to be like the captaincy percentage thing that you always talk about.
Effective
Salah's
ownership.
will be more through the roof than Isak's.
Yeah.
I'm just actually intrigued. Let's see, because I think despite that Ipswich hat trick where he got how many points will he have got? Just bear with me there 1 second.
Oh, don't
He
worry.
got 17 points with a hat trick. I imagine Salah's still got more against Spurs. Yeah, 21.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that just goes to show it. Salah's more involved, full stop. And if he has a quiet game in front of goal, he's still likely to get an assist. And if he doesn't have a quiet game in front of goal, he's still probably likely to get an assist. So yeah, I think it depends either way. Liverpool, I think you've also got to look at the form and what game they're going into. Liverpool's game could be a brilliant day out for the club, whereas Newcastle need to get back on like winning terms. They've just been battered by Villa. That could have an effect on their confidence a little bit. So I think if you're looking at how form is going, Liverpool, I know they may not be like blowing everyone away, but they're winning games and the form isn't dreadful. And this is a completely different scenario where they can win the Premier League in front of fans for the first time in my life, in the first time in many people's lives. So I think that's a really special day. Granted, it could go tits up, but with how Liverpool have been playing and how Salah's been playing and his mindset, I would say that Salah would make an excellent captaincy choice. Whereas Isak, I think he needs a bit more of the team. As much as he's a fantastic player and can pull something out of nothing, I don't think he's quite got that ability in him like Salah does when you've just come off the back of quite a thumping. I think Newcastle will need to be a team for Isak to perform really well.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. Right, what other questions have we got? Trent or Cucurella? I think Cucurella's the safer one. Trent's the more
I think that's all it is.
Yeah.
I think that's all it is. It's safety over saucy.
Yeah, literally. What do you think of triple Wolves defence? I don't think I probably would go for triple Wolves defence. I know Leicester have been pretty bad this season in front of goal, but it does have a Jamie Vardy goal written all over it this game.
Yeah, and I think I would have. It does, but then if you if you were to have defence orientated Wolves players, I would understand it. Until you say triple, even I will admit when I'm wrong, and Cunha has to be in your team.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking about Cunha because there has been talk this week about obviously his move to Manchester United. It's looking like that release clause has been activated. Do you reckon the manager just goes, nah, not going to bother? Because they're pretty much safe.
He was going to go anyway, is the only thing I would say. He was always going to go, and yet he's been put back into the team that were doing quite well. Like Wolves' form wasn't woeful of late. It's not been fantastic, but it's been good enough to secure safety. It's given Strand Larsen a bit of time to up his confidence and score a few goals. I don't think they've missed him as much as you would have expected them to miss him when he's been out. So the fact that they've integrated him back into the side would suggest that he will just see out the season and play as much as he can. But I do get your point. It's not too dissimilar to Trent, is it?
Yeah.
I think the only thing with Trent is, of course, he is a homegrown boy, so I think there's a lot more emotion behind that one. Whereas Cunha, he will just do what he needs to do. The fans will just appreciate that he's not been born and bred in Wolves, so he's not sticking his fingers up at Wolves. He's getting them a good deal at the end of the season. And in all fairness to Cunha, he signed a contract.
I mean, this is what I mean. He's not like not refusing to play. He's got a release clause. If someone's met it, that's just the terms of his contract.
Yeah, and he signed the extension to stay with them. So there was a release clause. He's happy. The club are happy. They're getting money for him. And so, yeah, why would they not play him?
Yeah, I think maybe if they win this game as well, that's it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You imagine so. Because you can't imagine Ipswich will get anything on Saturday.
No, you doubt it. Louis in the chat as well. He says, some gorgeous men here. Thank you, Louis, my friend. He says he's gone Captain Isak as well. So he's gone big. I know he's about 48k as well. He was showing me today at work. He's at 48k and he's taking the gamble of Isak. So.
Quite cute, actually. Yeah, he actually added me on Snapchat yesterday.
Oh, what a lad, eh? What a lad.
I know. It took me right back to year 6. I was going to ping him for a line, but got a bit too nervous.
Nah. What was the thing where you did like an X? Was it like X?
X for a para.
Yeah. X
for a rate.
Yeah. And then like you like some bird just be like, really nice, funny lad.
Dead funny, great laugh.
He's a dead funny lad, massive winky. You know what I mean? It'd just be stuff like that. And then you just see like them just post like loads, and you could clearly tell like the lad that they defo fancied.
Yeah.
Like, they just put like a massive paragraph for him and be like, cute blonde hair.
It was the only reason they'd
Their whole reason was just to get that lad to do it, and he was be like, oh yeah, fucking massive bicep. I love.
Why are they from Liverpool?
I don't know, but it just is. I can just picture it being some like proper scouse bird just doing it. Like, I love the way you chong on your vape, like that. That'd just be the top line. That'd be it. That'd be the ceiling.
I love it when you got me cherry ice.
Oh, you got that. What was the one I saw the other day? Oh, it was really shit. It was like, what was the flavour? I was in a shop the other day and I saw a flavour and I was going to send it to you. It was like...
What was it, like grass or something?
It was like ball vinegar or whatever, you know what I mean? Just... it wasn't great,
I'd be intrigued. If there was a vape that was ball vinegar, I think I'd buy it out of curiosity.
Exactly. A lovely bit of ball balsamic in the morning. You know what I mean? Delicious. Right, we've gone off track again. Andrew's asked us, what do I do? I'm at 2.5k in the world. Very well done. He says, with a free hit, been stuck between 2.5 and 5k most of the season. Push it or go template. This is the thing, right? I think with a free hit, I would probably go mostly template and have 1 or 2 players that you think personally could pop off and have a little bit of fun with those players. That would be my advice.
Yeah, you've got to back yourself. When you're that high up, you've clearly been doing something right.
Yeah.
There'll be considerable amounts of players taking this seriously below you. I mean, there's someone here that's got a whole YouTube account based on it below you, and he does template a lot. And I would say 99% of your shouts are pretty like factually, statistically based, and do like turn out to be the right moves. And yet this lad's 2.5k in the world. So you've got to back yourself. I think you've got to go template like you say in the majority, but then back the fact that you're there for a reason because your choices you've made have put you above the rest.
Yeah, like I said, I think sometimes as well going template can get like slammed, but there's a reason usually something is template, and it's because those pick like Cunha being template. It's because he's a good player and he's playing one of the worst sides in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, isn't it? But yeah, do whatever you want to do, mate. If you fancy a little bit of a gamble, fully go for it. Like at the end of the day, it's just a game. Like it ain't that deep. If you're not playing like a money league or whatever with your mates, it ain't that deep.
Yeah.
Like when you go to like final coffin in the box, no one's gonna go, oh, he got 2.5k rank one time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, what a shame.
Oh.
Good. If only you didn't If only you didn't take that risk in the free hit week.
Exactly. If he'd had taken the risk, he could have been world number one. But hey ho, enjoy it. Do whatever. You're going to finish with a decent rank for the remainder of the season, really, in my opinion. Cool. Right. Ed's just asked, hey Tom, just got on the stream. Is there any way I can see your free hit? Just for you, Ed, mate, I will bring up my team. There you go. That's what I'm currently working with for my free hit, mate. There's probably going to be a few moving parts. Nico Williams, I kind of just haven't really looked at my bench, to be honest. He'll definitely be gone. Don't worry about that.
God, there's so much disdain in your voice.
Yeah. Nico Williams, gone.
Nico Williams, get out.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
My team, for the record, is pretty much the same.
I think you had a great team, and it definitely didn't cause Matteo to have a mental breakdown in the chat, did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely didn't cause that. It really, really didn't. Right, just finishing up, looking at the poll. Best captain for this week, 62% of you have gone for Mohamed Salah, 17% have gone for Isak, 13% have gone for Cunha, and then 8% have gone for other. So there we go. That's where we're at. Right, we're going to leave it there. I will be live tomorrow at 7:15 in the morning. So, of course, get your free hit draft sent to me. I'll put the tweet out a little bit later for that one. So get those sent in. We'll review them on stream. We'll answer as many questions as possible. And hopefully we might get a little bit of early team news. But like I said, live from 7:15 in the morning, so get yourself there. And of course, if you are new around here and you have enjoyed today's stream, make sure you're hitting like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and enjoy it. There we go. That's the main thing. Enjoy this game. It is a game at the end of the day, and you're probably going to get more fun out of it. But hey ho, it is what it is. Any final remarks from you, Jake, heading into this blank game week?
Highest scoring game?
Highest scoring game. What a lad. Let me have a look. What are we working with? Oh yeah. Oh, there's some saucy buggers here. Oh. Brighton West Ham. I'm gonna go Brighton West Ham.
Yum.
Yeah. What are you
I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go Bournemouth United.
Okay. All right. Don't mind it.
Thanks.
Right. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. And yeah, good luck this game week.